the Hanged Man. Now, I have to confess, there are cards that I like and cards that I don't like, but it's rarely based on the image. But I absolutely hate this card, and I almost switched out the deck because of it. But it is what it is. So this is the Hanged Man, and today is a day where you may be waiting. It may feel like an agonizing wait, an interminable wait, because matters have come to a halt, a complete standstill. If anything is happening, it's a drip, drip, drip. And so some of you are having to really rethink some things, because this is a card that ties to spiritual awakenings, some form of enlightenment that occurs and can only occur through slowed action, taking your time with something. And today may be a testing period in order for you to learn some kind of lesson. There's a connection to cosmic consciousness here, where maybe you are spiritually attuning to your higher self. Perhaps it's requiring a sacrifice of you or some kind of selflessness. You're having to adapt to new circumstances, readjust and break from the past, whether that's voluntarily or by circumstance. Perhaps you're doing so in recognizing the highest good for all involved. So you may have to let go of something. And for some of you, there may be some unexpected occurrences, some domestic or career changes that are unsettling. Maybe you're having some plumbing issues. Maybe there's a faucet that's drip, drip, dripping. Or maybe you're having some health issues. Maybe you have the cold or the flu or a virus or an allergy. Because this card ties to some form of healing, hospitals. Maybe you're connected with somebody that's ill. It's also a card where there is confusion, uncertainty, a vagueness to situations. And in some cases where you may not really even know yourself. And so you pattern yourself in the terms of other people and their wishes. You fail to have a real identity. And so it's a card of the uncommitted. Now, what I don't like about this card, coupled with the overarching influence, is that it's another card tied to deception, if only by self-deception. Allowing someone to pull the wool over your eyes, or deceiving yourself, or not seeing something clearly, either because of naivete or ignorance or a choice. This is a day where you have to really be objective about yourself. And remember yesterday, that might have been a problem, being objective, because you have strong emotions tied to something. So how you view yourself in a situation, if you can do critical analysis and step back, the more you stand to gain, because it's a new perspective that is helping you make sense of whatever the circumstance is you're dealing with, so that you can make peace with it. Maybe having to put the past to rest, or reevaluating your goals for the future based on what's happened in the past, but this time with greater clarity. So you're going to have to be very patient to keep your eye on the prize with this holding pattern, to persevere, to remain focused on the goal. And if you can, you'll be making realistic decisions today to achieve those goals. You may be at peace right now, being very tranquil. You're not broken by what's going on. Maybe it didn't work out the way you wanted to, but you have surrendered to the higher power, the highest good, your highest self, in spite of any setbacks or delays you're encountering. And if people are trying to make you feel bad about yourself, about who you are, make you feel guilty when you know that you don't deserve that, or these are untruths or false accusations, or you live in a way that you are okay with yourself, you can look in the mirror, you're going to be good. This is also a day, though, to question some of the sacrifices you're making. Are they serving any good, or are you just serving yourself up on a platter? Maybe you're making some sacrifices that don't really accomplish anything. They don't prove anything of value. Maybe, again, you have a martyr complex, or you're fooled by your own ego. So you're doing things as a do-gooder, but are you really accomplishing anything good, or you're just soothing your own ego, the feeling that you're a good person? So you have to question that. But the greater your self-doubt about who you are, your own intentions, the more likely you are to follow that path of least resistance, whether or not it's the right thing, the best thing for you or your situation. Now, it's a day where you may have difficulty, again, grappling with your emotions, really knowing what they are, and perhaps you try to repress them or hide your frustration. But the more you try to suppress what you're really feeling, the harder it is for that resentment not to come out, and come out in the wrong way, taking it out on people, matters, situations that really don't deserve it, striking out, lashing out at people who have nothing to do with how you're feeling or what's going on. And this is a day where not paying attention, not taking care of business, allowing things to pile up, procrastinating, each loose end you decide to overlook, everything where you've decided to turn a blind eye or look the other way, is eventually going to resurface in some form or another for you to face or deal with. Now, for some of you, no matter how much you think you're ready to move forward, to take steps in a better direction, you may still fall back on some old habits. This is a card that ties in some ways to addiction, drugs, alcohol, forms of escapism. And maybe you start doing things that limit you, some self-limiting habits, attitudes, or beliefs that have failed you in the past, but you continue to hold on. So this is going to be a day where you're going to have to maintain, in spite of whatever's coming at you, your sense of composure, the ability to close out the crap and focus on what matters. Find your spiritual self. That goal is about to be tested today. But again, it could be a new perspective. It could be a reversal of a situation for better or for worse. If you've had something stolen or someone get over on you, things may swing the other way. Something is going in a new direction and you're having to adapt. You're at a crossroads where you have to surrender perhaps to the opposing viewpoint, the release of your personal will, or look at where you're making useless sacrifice. Where your values lie. Is it materialism or spirituality? Are you concerned just for self or for the good of all? So you may be dealing with the ramifications of poor decisions, bad investments, poor financial decisions, a lack of commitment, dissatisfaction with life, a lack of effort, a sense of futility, stuck in something that's not particularly good for you, putting out a false self. So this is a day to come back to the essence of you, and you must do that by withdrawing from the material world in order to meditate, to reflect, to think. Perhaps it's time for you to dare to be different, to walk a new path.